Chapter 24. Aneshka's visit to Castle Yaroslav was going well. King Drakmar expressed his sadness that her parents weren't able to join them, but Aneshka could see that he was secretly glad to have her all to himself. The king gave her a tour of the castle, pointing out the favorite bits of his collection. Idarsh, the old servant, followed them from room to room. He poured them mead and fetched them apricot-filled donuts. But Aneshka didn't like his presence. She could feel his eyes on her, even when he was supposed to be stoking the fire. He was too sharp, too observant. On the third day of her visit, the king sent Idarsh away and showed Aneshka into his study. He helped her squeeze past an enormous orange jewel and held her hand as she stepped daintily over a row of exotic lizard eggs. When she got her skirts caught on the teeth of a stuffed wildcat, King Drakmar bent down to set her free. In the middle of the study, there was a desk. Behind the desk, there were bookshelves filled with precious stones. They glinted and glimmered in the low light. "What do you think?" said the king. "It's magnificent," said Aneshka. "Really, I've never seen anything like it." "I brought you here because I want to speak in private." Aneshka kept her face still. That was it, just as the stars had promised. "Since we first met," King Drakmar groped for the right words. "From the very first moment." He held on to the corner of the desk to steady himself. "Go on," said Aneshka. "I intend to make you my wife," he blurted. Aneshka moved a hand to her mouth. "Your Majesty!" She hoped she sounded sufficiently surprised. "Your Majesty, I had no idea." "Of course. I had intended to firm things up with our father first. He'd be delighted," she said, rushing forward and taking the king's hand. "And so am I." The king smiled, and Aneshka could see her outline reflected in his eyes. He took a black box out of a drawer in the desk. "This used to belong to my brother," he said, removing a gold ring from the box. "And this one belonged to his wife." He showed her a smaller ring. "I would like them to become ours, from one king and queen to the next." "They're lovely," said Aneshka. "I'll send them off to be polished. Get them looking as good as new. We'll need to think carefully about how we make the announcement. Once we've told the people, they expect the wedding within a matter of days, and I would prefer it if we could take our time. We'll need to speak to the prince when we are ready." "The prince!" She couldn't quite keep the surprise out of her voice. "Miroslav, my brother's son." "Oh, I assumed that you'd sent him away." "No. He's somewhere in the castle with his friends. Peasants, I gather. The boy's running quite wild." Aneshka would have to choose her words carefully. "And what does he mean for our future?" she asked. "If we are to get married." "What do you mean?" The king looked confused. "You don't have to mother him, not if you don't want to, although it might do him some good." "Never mind, Laska. That's not what I meant. But there's no rush to deal with a boy, especially if we're not announcing the wedding yet. I just wanted to get you thinking, to set the cogs in motion as it were."